back to the UFC again for the Tito Ortiz feud, and Dana White even admits like Ken was the reason, kind of what launched UFC a little bit into the stretch here, because without your feud with Tito, they were floundering too. Like where do they go? I mean, that was huge for them at that point.
Yeah, it was big because Tito was he was such a star. I mean, like the guy had charisma. In my opinion, pound for pound at that time, nobody could beat the guy. I mean, he was it, and he had this charisma, but there was nobody they could have him fight that would be equal with charisma, with being able to promote the fight and going in and fighting. And so I know when Dana approached me, they were dying. They couldn't. They put all these fights together that you thought would probably sell, but they didn't because they
Yep.
didn't have star power. And Tito was a star, but he just didn't have the adversary for him. And so when they approached me, I was like, man, we already have a feud. I mean, like me and this guy already got issues. And so because of the Tank thing, right? That whole thing that me and Tank and him talking like he talked, he was part of that crew. So there was something to build on. So when they did that, I thought to myself, yeah, man, I'll take the fight. Now, the original thing when he approached me was I was going to wait till I got my knee fixed, but he said we can't wait. I had already been fighting on it because it wasn't a complete blown ACL. It was a torn ACL, and it wasn't tendons or muscles or anything like that. It was just a shredded ACL. A lot of football players play with braces with that. So it's not a major thing other than it does affect your movement quite a bit, side to
Right.
side, back to back. It can slip here and there. So it was in that case, it was because I couldn't tape it going into a fight. I could wear a knee thing on there. I couldn't wear a brace. So I could tape under the knee brace, but I couldn't, not a knee brace, but under the spandex, but I couldn't wear the brace to support it. So I told him I'd love to do the fight, but I got to get my knee fixed. And he's like, oh, dang, he says, we got this fight coming up. I really wanted to make this happen. And so I kind of went, I him out around and I said, all right, I can, I mean, I've been fighting on it for a year now. I can fight another fight on it. So it won't hurt that much. So I ended up doing the fight with the torn ACL the first time around. So, but again, like I said, it was, being a fighter, you always believe you can find ways to win. And Tito was just too good. I mean, he was at the top of his game, pound for pound, the best fighter in the world at the time. But I'm happy that I was able to be a part of being able to bring the UFC to where it is today. And even if I was healthy, I want people to truly understand this. I was in my late 40s, 48s, 49, something like that, the first time I fought Tito, right? So I wasn't a spring chicken. So even if I didn't have the injury and I was completely healthy, Tito would have beat me, no question, because I wasn't in my prime. So I want to get that out of there. The injury didn't stop Tito from beating me. It was my age that beat me. But Tito was, even if I was in my prime and I was 32 years old or 27 years old, we still would have had a hell of a match. Obviously, me being who I am, believed I could have pulled it out, just like I'm sure he believes he could pull it out too. So, but we'll
Right.
never know that. So, but yeah, so I was really, like I said, look back on it. I'm glad that I was a part of it because that was my legacy. And no matter whether I won or lost, I needed to do that so that UFC didn't die because it was very close to being shut down.
Yeah, that feud. I mean, that saved it. That got so much interest, and then obviously the Ultimate Fighter, and then the rest is history. But without that feud, who knows? Because people were losing interest in it big time.
Yeah, no question. And they had a star in Tito, but it's like I remember watching Tito go, man, this guy's, I mean, electrifying. I mean, he's amazing. But it seems like every time he fought somebody, it was flat. Like they weren't coming at him. They weren't pushing this fight or trying to build this fight up. They were basically already succeeding that they were going to get beat because he was that good.
Yeah.
So when I went in there, I realized like, okay, I got an uphill battle, but boy, I tell you what, we're going to make sure everybody watches this fight